Guyana. Okay, let's see how those people actually live. And first of all, look some context, numbers, economics, all that stuff. And then we're gonna look with the Google Earth Street View and some 360 to see how those people actually live. Starting with population. Guyana has a population around 835,000 people and still rising. You can see growing rate pretty much all over the place. So 1955, around 500,000 people living in this region with a 3% increase growing rate, which is insane. There will be net increase around 13,000 people and migration on plus 1,200 people. Median age around 17 years old. One of those nonsense fertility rates 6.2 and 28% of the people living in an urban area. Fast forward to 2025, 835,000 people, almost double the population, live now in Guyana with a growing rate about 0.6%, yearly change around 5,000, and now migration is on minus 5,000. You can see, except that 1955, as pretty much as you can see, the migration was always on minus, so things are not going well there. Median age around 26 years old now, and fertility rate much more manageable, 2.37. Urban population now even less, 26%. Now in the future they're saying by 2050 the population is going to reach 940,000 people, so it's double than it was 100 years before, which is again kind of insane. Yearly change around 0.3%, yearly change in net in population 2,000, around 3,000, let's call it like that. Migration still on minus 2,600 people choose to leave the country. Median age around 32 years old, and fertility rate now got below replacement, it's 1.98, and urban population around 32%, let's call it like that. Now, life expectancy in Guyana is very good, I would say. 70 years old for both sexes, 75 around that for females, and 66 for males. As a age to die for a male is pretty much a very good one, I would say. A bit lower is going to be perfect. Infant mortality rate 17.9 and death under age of 5 21.8. So yeah, the medical system pretty much does not exist in this country. Something that attracted my attention here was, look at this, ethnic groups by 2012. Indians, the majority of people in here is like 40%. I thought maybe it was a native Indians, but by religion they say Hinduism, it's around 25%. So there is a lot of Indians here, which kind of is pretty interesting. And Christianity, yeah, is the first religion, and then they have Hinduism, Islam, and quite a few people, like 4 or 5%, no religion. This is 2012, by the way, so maybe things change a bit by now. But demographically speaking, look at this. They have such a huge increase here, and then the pyramids goes narrow now. A huge male surplus by the age of 58, 60, around that, which is pretty insane. And then they have a bit of a female surplus. Economy in Guyana, well, economy is pretty interesting. Let's check those numbers. So GDP, keep in mind, GDP per nominal now 25 billion US dollars, which is pretty much nothing. But keep in mind also the population is not that high either. PPP around 70 billion US dollars. But look at this, GDP grow 33% 2023, 34% 2024, 19% 2025. Those are absolutely huge numbers. And the GDP per capita, 30,000 US dollars nominal and 91,000 PPP, 91 US dollars, 91,000 US dollars. Well, look at this, by sector, agriculture 15%, industry 15%, and services 70%. Inflation in 2023 was 4.5%. Why they got so rich so fast? I think they struck oil, and they have like conflict, like I'm gonna see here with Venezuela. They have a huge land disputed, so yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, just because you strike oil and you see those numbers up, it does not mean necessarily how the population living like on 90,000, pretty much the same as in USA. We're gonna see about that. Unemployment rate 2019, 16%. Ooh, absolutely huge numbers. Yeah, the main exporter is gonna be US, and the main importer is gonna be Singapore. So probably they have a lot of shipment from there. But yeah, corruption here in Guyana, not something that you can actually pass that easy. Let's check this once. In Guyana, where is this Guyana? Guyana right here scores only 28 points. They rise 8 points, which is pretty good, but still Guyana with 28 points. It's a very low score. Now timeline in Guyana, well, I'm not sure exactly how much important it is, but it's gonna give some prospect. You can see they have the British here. At some point I think it was even a Dutch colony. This is probably the historical claim by the Venezuela in this region, so that's why they kind of clash with them. Look at this, it was such a point a Dutch colony, so I don't think you're gonna see some Dutch influence, but usually when you have Dutch and British colony, you tend to do pretty well. So yeah, that's gonna be very interesting how those people actually see them today. Speaking language is gonna be English, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to me to see in South America right here, after we see pretty much all of those as so far as English, as Spanish colonies, Spanish speaking countries. Let's see how one British one is doing. So yeah, unfortunately we're not gonna have a clear border. We're gonna take all of this, and from what I can see here, not that much 360, but at least we have something to work on it. So I'm not gonna go here, just keep it simple. Yeah, a lot of in the south of the country, pretty much just population does not exist that much. They have some sort of the villages here, but not something super wow. So yeah, you can see here very small ones spreading around, not that developed. Keep in mind, they just strike oil not so long ago. Probably that's why they have that dispute with Venezuela. Venezuela used to, they still have a lot of oil though. I guess it doesn't matter how much they will have, there will never be enough. Oof, I like those rooftops. It could be some sort of resort or whatever, the ranch here they say. Oh, look how many those 360 they have here. Somebody enjoy making those. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Probably they're gonna make those ranch with agriculture, so they're gonna have the service industry as a tourist industry, and then they're gonna have some cattle, I guess. It is a ranch after all. I don't see the animals, but there has to be somewhere. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how speaking country, English country, is gonna do here in South America. So far from above, it looks very modernized, I would say. Not that bad, especially in these remote regions. I kind of like it. As you can see in Guyana, not a huge country, but the south part of the country is pretty much empty. And keep in mind, it's pretty huge country for just a population under 1 million people, which is good. They're gonna have a lot of space. But also, hopefully I'm not going outside the board. I keep checking those because again, I don't have that red line. Hopefully they're gonna maintain it as a, let's say, under 1 million people, and judging by those data here, it's gonna be like that. Hopefully it's like 0.31% with a growing rate of about 2,000 people. It's not gonna affect that much, but still, you never know at some point. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't work, this one, unfortunately. Yeah, they have to work on this, but also the Google doesn't work that well. Look at the quality of those. Even the satellite images is not that well. And this is, what year is this? Is 2024, so very recently. Maybe they just start adding those street views. Clearly there is some sort of airstrip here that we cannot see that well, and pretty much it's just blocking everything. It just doesn't seem to do anything. So yeah, things are not going well in Guyana for those street views. So yeah, here in the southern part of the country, not that much happening, at least in the 360s. They have some communities, but not that much. Here is 2023, so pretty recently, and you can see no paved roads. Maybe this one's a paved road here, but most of them, they're not paved. How people live here, well, from above doesn't seem too good. It feels like there was a fire or something here, but I don't think so. Yeah, things not so well, I have to say. Look at this. Even the quality of the satellite images is not that great. Again, hopefully we're not going outside. The capital, I like the name, the capital. I think it's called Georgetown. Look at this, Georgetown. Where do you live? In Georgetown. Clearly a British colony. But let's see. Until we go to Georgetown, let's see how those people actually live their lives. Here, I don't think it's a house. I think it's just pretty much... I have no idea what is happening here. Maybe they build a road or something. But again, the quality of those satellite images is not that well. Guyana, not supposed to be a bad country. As you can see, the history of them, like as a British colony, is supposed to be a pretty good start. But when I see that how those people live, it's just, at least from above, it doesn't look that well. They don't even have paved roads. Now again, they struck oil money. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean the country is gonna do extremely well, especially in the long term. I think the president or prime minister, I'm not sure exactly what they have there. I saw some videos that they're trying to diversify the economy. It doesn't go. Don't wanna go in that trap of oil. Countries like Venezuela has a lot of oil, and we don't see them doing that well. So yeah. It's gonna be a monumental task, I would say, to improve it. The economy and, most important, the life of those people without getting in that oil money trap. Yeah, here from above it looks pretty nice. I mean, it feels like they just got recently made those 360s, and even the satellite images, it feels like there wasn't no much interest in this region until very recently. From above, well, when you look at those houses, pretty big, pretty close to each other, small lands, and look how much lands they have around them. So not exactly a great way to build. They build upwards, which not a big fan of that. And most of the people, they still probably living in those, I don't know, maybe it's 30, 50 years old houses. Those looks much construction, brand new. Look at this. How small this house it is compared with this huge, absolutely huge. I'm not sure exactly how small it is. We have a car here for scale, but still, look at the difference between one. It's like a dollhouse. This one's just a small one it is, and those one absolutely huge. Those three, even this one also, and that one it's very small. Again, depends on the family. Depends how many members you have. But I believe one of those it's way too big. I mean, look at this, the other one, still pretty good, but this one, it's actually better. Look at this, only one floor, don't need to have a second level. It's just stupid. Look how much land you have around you. You do not need to jam at everyone together, I would say. We can have some street views here. Let's see this one, and keep in mind this is 2022, so very recently. Things here, again, construction doesn't look that big, just my preference that I don't like to have multiple store houses, but they look pretty good here. Yeah, this fence here is gonna eat a lot of money for not that much security, I would say, just a bit of a privacy maybe from those front, but there are better ways to do it, I would say. Roads here, so far pretty decent. Yeah, it's one of those gated community, I guess. Roads pretty good. Not that much to complain about them. Cars here also pretty decent. This one looks pretty nice. So maybe they use, again, it doesn't mean they're gonna do bad, but they use the money oil decently so far as I can see. But again, it's gonna be a trap at some point. That's what I'm saying. It should be. They should be very careful not to go in that trap. Clearly a lot of new construction. Unfortunately, that's a bad sign, I would say, because look at this. They are new, but they still they don't build it right. Look at this, how they jam it together with small yards when they have so much land, and they just pretty much jam it everyone together. And that's a new construction. That's gonna last for the next 50 years. That's gonna be the status quo, I would say. So I don't see them improving in a urban landscape, in a great building code, in a great city code. Yeah, here it's pretty much the old houses, which is the opposite. A bit more land, I would say, and a bit more space between them, but not that much. You can see here even they're just jammed together. And this is not even Georgetown, by the way. Yeah, it does not look that great, I have to say. Just a house is supposed to be more than just a place to eat, sleep. It should be an art, an exquisite art. Let's see these ones here, the other streets. Yeah, it's pretty much the same story everywhere. A lot of cars everywhere, and those are not cheap cars, especially by 2018. Fairly brand new cars, a lot of those. So even then, they didn't do that bad, but still, I do not see. That's the police. I do not see, like I say, a good urban code that can actually push them forward, and just building the same way with not that many people. Just like, I mean, we have 1 million people, let's say, and they have how many houses they can have here? 500? No, I think it's less than 500,000 houses, and they still don't build like I would like to see it. Just look at this, small land, small plots on each house, and an absolutely horrible way of building, and that's gonna stay like that for at least half a century. So yeah, they missed that train, I would say. Here on this road, highway, whatever it is, it looks pretty good. I mean, look at this, it is pretty nice. The roads are good, pretty wide, not too wide, not too small also. Look at it, that's perfect here, that's nice. The only thing that I can see here that I don't like it's whatever the water is doing here, and again, the way they build things. It's just, wow, look at this house. This is a huge red. That's the brightest red I see in a house. It feels like a complete chaos here. Somebody built like something like that with those colors. The other one building a bit more down the tone, I guess. But what is going on here? That's glass? That big? Phew. This one is just a bit better. Yeah, I don't see it a great building way, but who knows, maybe it's just me. This is a road, I guess. Oof. Again, roads look pretty good. They done that well so far. But the way they build, oof, not even close. Let's move to the. Hopefully I didn't fucked up. I'm still in. No, I'm still in Guyana. Let's see more of those Georgetown. Let's see this bridge. Yeah, not exactly a great one, but still. What are those? They just keep the bridge in place? It doesn't look very secure. Let's check on the other shore. 2024, and I get those are old construction. I get fuck. It's not much you can do about them. But the new ones that you start building is just does not look that well. And those straight lines, again, not a big fan anymore. It's just, it might be more efficient and whatever you want to say, but no, I don't like it anymore. And we have the chance to see the inside of one of those houses, and very basic, I would say. Yeah, not a big. Oh, we have more. Oh, let's check the other rooms. Exactly same one. Come on. This is probably from the yard. The house doesn't look that bad, but again, it's very simplistic, very boring architecture. Don't feel it that well, but they have decent cards here for 2022. Again, you see some money flowing in here, but the way they build it, just I don't see a great future for them in this way. That's my take on this one. Look at this. How much water stay here? This property, you can have some crocodiles here and you pretty much have a fort. Yeah, doesn't have a nice ring to it, I would say. This Georgetown, just don't see this park. Might be better than they used to have, I give you that, but I don't see that. Again, the future is not gonna look that bright. I mean, look at this. Water everywhere in those ditches, but a lot of cables here, so even here they didn't escape that. Look how much water stay here. Damn, that's not good. And the way, again, this house is way too big. It's just clearly they built upwards because they didn't have the land. So this one is like pretty much gonna crumble immediately. It's a small house here. What building code is this? You have a small house here and then you have this insanely huge one. Who allow a building like this to be built that close to a small house? What type of building code they have here? Oh god. Yeah, it just doesn't look that well in the first place. Oh, here they have some barbed wire here, so crime rate probably not so well. But I don't see bars on the windows. Those are not bars, are just design elements. Do they have bars on the windows? Doesn't seem like that. So maybe the crime rate is not exactly a huge problem. Yeah, but things are not looking great, I would say. It's just the way you build the city, the way you build your code, it's gonna show a lot about the country, the corruption level, because we saw that huge building very close to that small one. So there's no way you can actually build something like that in a first world country without bright. There's no way. Yeah, here a lot of things going on, a lot of houses, a lot of cars, a lot of jamming together. Just not a nice place to live, that's for sure. I don't like it here in the Georgetown. The name is nice, but that's it. Everything stops there. Let's check maybe outside, but it's the same story. Look at it, they still have small lands. And they build a lot of houses probably because those economic booms, but they build them in the wrong places in the wrong way. So yeah, whoever put that seal, this is not how it works. They kind of waste the money and also the land a bit. Look at this, they prepare to sell another plot here, but it doesn't look, I mean, just it's way too small for one house. Again, you have to have at least 5,000 square meters for one house, and the house should have around 250 square meters on one single level, not those multiple levels one. Those are expensive ones. 100% it's not gonna cheap to buy something here, but in the same time I'm wondering why I want to move here. Yeah, you can ride the train of the oil money. Probably there are gonna be some people, especially from the outside the country, that coming there to ride that train, but once they dry out or the demand goes down, they're gonna leave immediately, and just it's not any point for those people to just, let's say, move at all here, especially if the oil train crashes. Can you imagine what happened with the crime rate? And it's not like they're gonna have houses, because it's not a great one, the one they built. So we can say, okay, at least they have the houses, they have their independence in the providing like electricity and food and water and all of that. They have good infrastructure, reliable power grid and all that stuff. but they don't even have that, I guess. It's just, it doesn't feel like a house here that you're gonna say, oh yeah, that's the dream house. It's just, for me, it doesn't. And I don't see them. Especially, it's not like we saw in Uruguay when they trying to move away from those type of buildings and have bigger lands with decent houses on them that looks better. Here with more privacy, that's the main probably the main objective. Here is just everyone build whatever they dreamed last night and end up like a total chaos. Yeah, it just doesn't look great. Doesn't look great to me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe actually those people like that way. Fine, but you have, when you have the money, even if a short time, even if you have the money for 10 years, let's say, and you have to build a house, and you have to build your city, your town, at least you should do it right, not like this. Like this is just, and not that many people in the first place, so they really have a chance to build something great. And I guess they missed that train. Yeah, just don't like it. Don't see a future that bright in these communities. Let's see something else. Where exactly is the line here? I think it's this one. What else can we see in this country? Come on. Outside it, let's see some nice landscapes. Oh, that's pretty good. You can have a road trip. Yeah, I'm going Guyana for the vacation. I don't see why. Seriously, I don't see one thing that I'm gonna say, oh, that's pretty nice, that's pretty interesting, that's worth seeing. It just, that's a lot of garbage here. And even more here. It's just, I don't see it. Yeah, it's nice to keep an eye on them if you're, I don't know, in the petrol business, in the oil industry and stuff like that. Could be a good place for you probably, but vacation, no. Vacation home, no. What else? Better future, highly doubt it. It's just they oh, look at this trash here, and this is 2022. Yeah, it's again, it's a South American country, but it's at least they have a British history, so I expected much more for them. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. It's just the way it is. What else can we see? Well, I guess not that much, but at least now you have a better idea. It's nice to keep an eye on Guyana, I have to say, especially from the economic prospects, and probably, ooh, what is going on here? Way too many people. Probably, like I said, I have a feeling that, especially in the Western world, from the cars perspective at least, we're gonna have some oil demand go down after 2030, and that gives them roughly 5 years to improve whatever they have there, or whatever they're trying to build. So that's not exactly that much time. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're doing after those 5 years. Unfortunately, we don't have a 360 to a beach for whatever reason. There wasn't that much interested to do one of those, but let me check again. They don't even have that many communities on the short line. That's a bit strange. Okay, they have something here, but not exactly. Yeah, they kept these short lines pretty clean, which I appreciate that. Okay, not everywhere, but at least they try. Give them the trying part. I give you that. Ooh, yeah, the water is not exactly that nice, so I can understand why they don't build on the shoreline. Otherwise, there'll be a different story. Yeah, wow, why the ocean is that dirty here? Doesn't look nice at all. Yeah, shoreline pretty decent, but ooh, look at this muddy water. Why do they have those? in the north of the South America. They have that everywhere. Yeah, on the short line it's just absolutely horrible. Strange, very strange. Yeah, I guess it's not much we can talk about Guyana. It's just we see the economic, we see how those people live. It's gonna be interesting to see them in the future. I think it's a bit too early, but like I said, after 2030, it's gonna give us a much better idea where they're gonna land and how they're gonna use those newfound money, new oil money, how efficient it's gonna be with this new money, new prospect, because it's not gonna last that much. Let's face it, and they have to monetize it as much and as fast as possible, and they have to use it as best as possible. So we're gonna see where they're gonna land it. I don't have that much faith, but hey, maybe I am wrong, who knows. So yeah, I think that's the video. Check the other ones that I made, especially in this region, and see you next time.